FlossTube, it's Stephanie, Miss Oh So Crafty. Welcome back to my fourth video for FlossTube. It's been a few weeks. Today is the 6th of March, I think, and I'll be sharing my whips, an FO, doing a tag, the curiosity tag, and in the course of that tag I'll share a few FFOs, and then I have a stitchy haul to share. So without further ado, let's get started on the tag. So the first question is, how long have you been stitching? In my case, practically forever. I don't really remember a time when I didn't know how to stitch, so I must have been around 3 or 4 years old when I first started, and I have some vague recollections of plastic canvas and tent stitch, stuff like that, and I know I did some stamped cross when I was a small child, but I'm pretty sure I got into counted cross stitch no later than like 10 or 12 maybe, because I have some pretty old FFOs that are dated like when I was an early teen. So let's see, number 2, do you prefer framing your finishes or making cushions or wall hangings? I prefer framing. I do have quite a lot of things framed around my house, but I'm interested in trying like other ways. I do want to do the Donna Vermilion Giampa pillows with all the seasonal fruits and stuff. Those would be finished as cushions for my living room, and I'm working on a project, The 12 Days of Christmas by Joan Elliott, that I think would look fabulous as a wall hanging. So we'll see how I do stuff in the future, but I think framing will remain my old fave. All right, number 3, do you have a favorite designer? Well, it kind of changes, but lately I really love Joan Elliott. She just has so many gorgeous patterns, and there's a lot of different styles within her repertoire. So no matter what you're into, whether it's like fantasy or like more like ethnic type stuff or cutesy stuff, she just has a little bit of everything, or inspirational stuff. I mean, she has a wide variety of charts, and I've stitched several, and I find that they're pretty easy to stitch. Like, they don't have a gazillion colors and not too much confetti, nothing fussy like that. They do have a lot of back stitching though, so it kind of helps if you can back stitch as you go along. Number 4, what is the most you have paid for a design, fabric, and floss? I'm going to say my Lizzie Kate Living with Charm. That is a project where there were 6 charts released, and I guess I'll just say that is one of my pet peeves, when a designer releases charts and pieces like that, because I find that usually the finished cross stitch doesn't wind up huge, and it would be, you could buy a similar sized chart for a lot less money in the end. And then, of course, I bought a lot of specialty fibers to stitch it, all the weak dye works, and if I were doing it today, I probably would have subbed a lot of DMC, because not all of them really show that much variegation, but I will show you what I'm talking about. Here's my FFO. It hangs in my living room. Sorry for the glare. So starting from the top. Dream, love, remember, give, listen, learn, believe, care, encourage, laugh, create, live. I finished it in 2009, and I framed it myself. Well, it's stitched on 32 count cream Belfast, and I framed it myself using this like Celadon mat and a silver frame, which has like a more matte part and also like a shinier part, so there's some interest there. And I really love all the little charms. So like my favorite, there's a scissors charm by the Create. That's pretty cool, huh? I really like that. So, but I did, buying all these charts new from the LNS, and then it was probably like, I don't know, 40 bucks or so for the charts altogether, $40 or $45, and then maybe like another 30 or so for the week's dye works, or maybe not that much. I don't know. In any case, it was pricey. All right, moving on. What is the longest you have stitched a project in one day? Well, I can be kind of obsessive sometimes, and I will admit to having spent like pretty much all day stitching in the past. I participated in this thing called the International Hermit and Stitch Weekend, and it's like a blog event, and it's wonderful when you don't really have a whole lot to do. But in my current life with a young child, that doesn't really work out so well. So recently, probably the best that I've gotten would be like 8 hours maybe, like on a weekend. If my husband's home to do childcare, I can get stitching during the day and then take a break to make dinner and then stitch again. So maybe like 8 or 10 hours overall. All right, let's see. Question number 6. Do you have any FFOs that you have major mistakes in but only you notice? The answer to that would be yes. I'll show you which one I'm talking about. This is Fair, Kind, and True by Midsummer Night Designs. It's stitched on 32 count Belfast in the mellow colorway by Picture This Plus, and I think I used thread gatherer silk in like this variegated red color, and I love that. I love stitching with silk. But this was the first time I did like a sampler type project, and there's counting mistakes all over it. Like I just had to do some major fudging in the end. But just looking at it, you can't really tell. And I do like this. I have it in my bedroom. I personalized it at the bottom. It's me and my husband, Stephanie and Christopher Forever. I love that little infinity sign I came up with. I thought that was cool. So, yep, that's it. And of course I have, like, mistakes, but I do frog, and this one that I just showed you is probably, like, my only one with major mistakes. What is your favorite project that you finished? That would be Athena by Mirabilia. And hello again. Okay, so this is Athena by Mirabilia. She stitched on Blue Dynasty Belfast from Silk Weaver, and there's quite a bit of silk thread in this, a lot of beads. I finished it in 2012. She was one of my first Mirabilias, not the first, but one of the first. And I love the colors in this piece. I love what she represents. She's the goddess of wisdom, and wisdom is something that I perennially aspire to. I think knowledge and education is one of the most important factors in having a civilized society. So I just love her. I love the little owl. Had to use a little bit of whisper in there, but it was pretty limited. So this is my favorite FO. So I did frame her myself. The frame is really cool. It's like a black frame, and then it has this dull bronze or dull gold detail on it that is kind of like columns and beads. It's pretty neat. I thought it complemented her the columns on the piece really well. So I have this in my office / playroom. All right, let's see. I dropped my little notebook that contains the questions, so excuse me. All right, number 8. If you lost your stitchy bug, what makes it come back? Well, I've only really lost my stitchy bug once in my life, and that is when I was living in a condo and I became a very prolific knitter. In the condo, it was a question of wall space. I just didn't really have that much room to hang stuff. So what made my stitchy bug come back was moving into a house that had plenty of wall space. But on a minor level, watching FlossTube definitely like inspires my stitchy bug. and all the Facebook groups and reading people's blogs, so I don't really have too much trouble with that these days. Number 9, do you have to make sure you finish a project, or can you leave it over in a pile and make new starts? Well, definitely the latter. I have left my Heaven and Earth Merlin project for 9 years. I think I started in 2007, so here we are in 2016. And I am planning to pick it up, rescue it from the UFO pile this year. We'll see how that goes. Number 10, what is your most hated type of stitch? I will say back stitch. I mean, I don't really hate it. It's just some projects have so much of it that it's like enough is enough, you know? But with those, I think the key is just to do it as you go along. So that kind of keeps it under control. I mean, there was this one project, my Christmas Angel, which I showed you in my first video, where that thing just had so much backstitching that I got kind of fatigued with the backstitching, and it took me like 3 separate rotations to finish it. And that was, I mean, the rotations were probably only a couple days each, but a couple days of solid backstitching is a lot. So. Alright, so now moving on to my whips. So after my last video, I was getting ready to work on Air Goddess by Joan Elliott, and I'll show you what that should look like finished, and I'll also insert a pic of my previous progress. So what I did this time is I worked on the upper left of the chart, which is her wrap and the sleeve extensions and a bit of her hair. That's this golden color in the middle here. And that took me 3 days, and I wasn't really like ready to put it away at that point, so I decided to go back to the second half, and I added in most of the details. I broke out the Krennic, and I did a lot of the confetti gold Krennic here in the petticoat cross-stitching, and then the purple Mambo Krennic in the for the details in the wrap. And then I started backstitching. So there's backstitching with gray, that's like her little feet and this wrap here. And then backstitching with Krennic and the silver Krennic and the purple Krennic. And there's a lot of detail. Let's see if I can get closer. So if you see the detail in her petticoat, there's the Libra and let's see, Libra and Gemini and Aquarius, the air signs of the zodiac. So that is just so cool. And I'm really glad that I did the back stitch on the bottom. I mean, this took a couple days, about 2 days. So I feel like I'm really in a good, you know, status to finish the project this year. It won't be that bad to back stitch the top half now that the bottom half is basically done. There is more cross stitching to be done on the bottom half. It's like swirls in the air, and that's done with a Krennic thread that I don't actually have yet, so I'll need to get my hands on that. I really love this project. I'm looking forward to working on her again pretty soon. And then with that finished, I worked on something that I finished, so we'll get to that last. And then after that, I had a few days left in February. Most of my rotation goals were complete, so I decided to pick up my Mask of Colors whip. I will insert a pic of what that will look like finished, and also my previous progress. And here it is. So I worked on this side, worked down to the bottom of the chart in the first column, and then I parked all those threads in the second column, and then cleaned those up, which actually allowed me to finish most of the second column. So the first column took 2 days, and then the second column took an additional day. So my goal for this is to get to the 75% mark, which would be like right around here this year, and I think that is very doable. If I feel particularly industrious during wine and whips, I might actually even finish her. We'll see. But if I could do this over again, I wish I could do it on, I would do it on 18 Ada. This is done 2/1 full cross on 22 Lugana, and it is a tight squeeze, but I love the tiny details, so it's cool. I will finish her. But the chart for this thing is crazy. It's just so much, pretty much the whole thing is confetti. Her skin actually has less confetti, so I'm looking for her like neck and chest areas, like all over here. So once I get to that area, it should go a lot quicker. So that will be fun. And then finally, beginning March 1st, I picked up my Stitch Along piece for It's Not Easy Being Green on Stitch Mania, and that was Mirabilia's Siren and Shipwreck. Here is what it will look like finished. Well, there's the pattern in any case, and I will insert a pic of my previous progress. This time I worked on the this green fin here, and then her body up from here, and the chandelier, and her hair. Obviously I am doing a conversion for her hair, making her a redhead, and in the pattern she has like little flower petals or whatever, and I got rid of those that are in the bottom of her hair. I'll leave the flower petals in the top part, you know, for the crown headdress area, but I didn't want them in the bottom part, so I filled them in with more hair, and this is done in DMC. The original pattern calls for 4 different brown colors, and I substituted reds. The darkest is 3777, and then there's 919, 921, and 3856, if memory served. I might have to correct myself on that. So she's really coming along. The only thing left really is her upper body, her arms, and the top part of the chandelier, which is like the hanger, basically, in Stunning Krennic, which I may or may not have. And then, of course, the beading. This project has a huge bead pack, so it should be quite extensive. But I love how the hair is coming out, and I didn't intend to do it this way, but now that I've stitched like half her hair, I think it looks a lot like Ariel from The Little Mermaid. So, like I said, that wasn't my intention, but I'm happy with it, and I think it adds a lot of interest to this project. So I'm going to have to change some of the colors in the headdress because they use this like pale lavender silk, which you can see in the bottom part of the fin, and that doesn't look good against the red. So I'm thinking I'll use a bit of green there and use citron beads instead of purple or periwinkle beads that are charted. All right, so back to my FO. That was Happy by Them Stitches on Etsy, and I had to order one of the DMC colors for it because I couldn't find it at the local craft store. So this is 720. I think that was the one. And when I got this, I was like, traffic cone orange. I wasn't terribly thrilled. Orange is not really my color, but I think it looks fine in the context of the piece. So here we go, because I'm happy. Every time I see this, the song by Pharrell sort of pops in my head. I think he turned out really cute, and I backstitched Mirror Minion 2016 at the bottom because this will be a gift for the mystery box for the Mirabilia Minion retreat. and I have to finish it as a flat fold. I bought some fabric, but I haven't got around to it yet. The retreat's not until April, so there is some time. But this took about 8 days, I guess, and it's stitched on 34 count cream linen. And very cute, cheerful design. I like it. Alright, so now my haul. Sorry if you can hear my son, he's running around. So I ordered from 123 Stitch, and like I mentioned before, I am on a stash diet, if you will. I've given up stash enhancement for Lent, but the exception to that is things for gifts. So here is a little piece of Queen Anne's lace Jobelin, 32 count, and this is for gift, which I'll probably be starting with in the next few weeks. It's pretty, kind of like a slightly variegated, like neutral. It's going to be a graduation announcement for my sister. She doesn't watch this. I don't think any of my family is even aware that I do these videos, so it's cool. And then I got this Gloriana in the pomegranate colorway, and this is for the mystery box. This is Gloriana's one of, or it's not Gloriana, I'm sorry, it's Karen Water Lilies in the pomegranate colorway, and Karen Water Lilies is one of my favorites, so I hope that whoever receives the box likes it. And then I got a little needle minder for the mystery box. This little cute little froggy needle minder from Etsy. I don't use needle minders myself, but I know a lot of sisters do, so I thought it'd be good for the mystery box. And then I got this one too. It says, "I'm so fancy." It's cute, but not exactly what I thought it was going to be, so I may or may not include it in the mystery box. And then I got this bead pack. It's like a multi-pack. Glass seed mini pack with like a dark pink and a light pink and a gray and a blue color. So that would be fun if someone wants some beads to jazz up their project. And then I got this sparkly Krennic number 4 braid. This is 015 HL. High luster green, and it is very sparkly, so that's fun. And then I got this blending filament. I need this for my Teresa Wentzler The Castle whip, which I'm going to work on a bit in this month, in March. And then, so that's it for the new haul. And moving back in time a little bit, I bought some magazines. It all started with my search for this King Arthur sampler pattern. It's in this old issue of Cross Stitch Collection. This is issue number 122, and I had been stalking eBay looking for it with no luck for a while, so finally I posted on the 123 Stitch message board, and this kind person had it, and for a very reasonable price at that. And communicating with her, she told me that she had lots of these old Cross Stitch Collection magazines, and were there any others I was interested in? And I thought, well, I'm trying to kit up those Elemental Goddesses by Joan Elliott, and I know that these patterns were originally published in Cross Stitch Collections, so, and then I thought about all of Joan Elliott's flower fairies that I like, and then while looking at old Cross Stitch Collections, I found a design by Maria Diaz that I really liked, so I did buy quite a few magazines. So first we'll go through this one, and I'm not going to go through every page, but just the things I flagged I really like. This geisha on the cover is very pretty. It's by Anchor, and it's got a lot of detail. a cool like salmon border. If geishas are your thing, this is a really nice chart. And then this Make Your House a Home sampler by Jane Greenoff. Really pretty sort of autumn themed sampler. I thought that was very nice. Autumn Glow by Sheila Hudson. Beautiful flower design. So, this one is big, lots of detail. Also sort of an autumn theme. And then the whole reason I bought the magazine, this chart by DMC, it's called King Arthur. King Arthur's Court. And there's a lot of detail in there. There's Merlin, there's King Arthur, there's Guinevere and Lancelot, and there's a ship and a castle, and there's dragons and crests and crowns and just a lot of cool stuff. It's pretty big, I think around 16 by 12 on 32 count, but it's not full coverage, so I mean, this is definitely a big project, no doubt, but it wouldn't be like that bad to stitch, I don't think. So this is probably on my list for next year. I really want to stitch this. I might start it tomorrow if I were that kind of person who just starts all the time, but I do sort of want to keep a handle on my whip count, and I'm already doing the year of starts. I have like 16 planned, so. All right, so into the Joan Elliott Goddesses. This is issue 181 with the water goddess on the cover, obviously. Isn't she pretty? A better picture. Water goddess. Love the colors in that. The little dragonflies floating around. The moon. So pretty. And then this is a All Things Bright and Beautiful by Leslie Tier. I thought that was nice. If you like birds, check out Leslie Tier. Thinking of you, Calico, if you're watching. I found a lot of beautiful bird designs by Leslie Tier in these magazines. And then, here we go. Ducks in a Row by Anchor. This is a gorgeous, very realistic wildlife design. Really nice. Little Bit Wonderful, this teddy bear. I think he's so cute. Little Ted. And that's by DMC. And then here's another animal design, Playful Pups by Maria Diaz. Dalmatians. I think that's very fun if you like Dalmatians. Alright, so here is Joan Elliott's Fire Goddess. This is issue 184. And let's see, what did I tag? So here's the Fire Goddess. She's so pretty. I think if I manage to finish Air and Earth this year, I'll start this one like in January maybe. It will be a nice sort of wintry stitch as I think about warmer things. So she's pretty. And then here we go, Horse Tails by Anchor. I love this sampler. If you're into horses, man, this is really cool. Lots of detail, really nice. Here's another wildlife design. This is Hidden Wonder, Panda by Pollyanna Pickering for DMC. Very realistic. This one kind of it makes me think of Carolyn Mazzio. If you like pandas, this one might be a good one for you. And there's one more in here. So, Welcome Home by the Historical Sampler Company. I think that's really pretty. Not quite my style, but if you like pink and hearts, then that's gorgeous. Alright, so next I thought, well, how about Joan Elliott's Historical Ladies? I have this idea of stitching the 4 of those for my sewing room. And this issue is issue 223. There's a pretty bird on the cover. The first thing that caught my eye in this one is a Subtle Beauty by Maria Diaz. It's a white lily, very almost like photorealistic, and the way it's finished is it mounts like a mounted canvas kind of, and I think that's really cool. And there's a whole series of these flower designs by her. And here is part 2 of the Edwardian Garden Party. Very pretty. This is by Sandy Littlejohns and Deb Lester. But this is only part 2 of 3, which is a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I mean, I don't know, I guess the chart is 2 pages, so it's reasonable to split it up. And then this one, Chaffinch in Summer, not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, by Leslie Tier. I think that is so pretty. I'm not really a bird stitcher, although I have done a few pieces with birds, but this is a series of 4. So this is the summer one, obviously, and I think it is just gorgeous. I love the flowers, I love the bird, I love the butterflies. So pretty. Maybe I'll stitch like all 4 of these and put them on the wall all together. I don't know, that would be cool. And then here is the Edwardian Lady by Joan Elliott. And then finally, Let Them Eat Cake by Angela Poole. I just thought this was really cute the way it's finished, like a bunting, and it would be fun to do for a party. It doesn't really look like that much stitching. Alright, let's see, here is issue 225, the flapper on the cover. So here is Jewel of the Water by Leslie Tier. Sorry, Pretty Water Lily with a dragonfly. That one is gorgeous if you like dragonflies. Really nice. And here is Birds of Our Shore by Anchor, Amanda Jane Butler for Anchor. So this is like the British wildlife series or whatever, but I don't live in Britain, but I still love this design. It's really cool if you're into that sort of thing, birds. So, and then there's this one, Drifting Dreams by Maria Diaz. Oops, here we go. And these you see like on the narrow boats. You see them on some of the rivers in Britain. Very cool design. And here is Joan Elliott's Fabulous Flapper. She would be really fun to stitch. A lot of cool details in that. And then here is issue 221 with Joan Elliott's Victorian Lady and another one of those gorgeous bird designs. I like this one a lot. Tulips in Bloom by Angela Poole. Finished as a pillow. That one's really nice for spring. And then the Spring Cottage by Maria Diaz. That's really nice. I have a few like cottage type things in my stash that I might get to one day. And then here's another one of these Leslie Tier seasonal birds. This is called Bright and Beautiful. This is obviously like the springtime one or whatever. Love that. It's a blue tit and all those flowers. Just so pretty. And of course, in all these magazines, I only have 2 of the 4 designs, but I might be able to track down the other 2. And then here we get into Joan Elliott's Flower Fairies. So this one is issue 214. There's her dragonfly fairy on the cover. Here's something by Leslie Tier, the Folk Art Deer, finished as a pillow. It's really nice if you're into folk art. And here's another one of those detailed close-up flower designs by Marie Diaz. This one is the Blushing Rose. That is gorgeous. I might do that for my bedroom. And here is the Dragonfly Fairy. I think she just looks so like free and joyful. I really look forward to stitching this one day. That's Joan Elliott, by the way. And then Sweet Treats by Angela Poole, kind of cool Christmas ornaments that are dimensional. A lot of cross-stitch ornaments you see are finishes like little circles or squares, which is fine, but this is nice for a little variety. And then lastly, there is Night Watchman, a Barn Owl by Anchor, and I think that is a pretty cool design if you're into birds. Very detailed. So, alright, so here we go with issue 196, the Rose Fairy on the cover. Here is Joan Elliott's Rose Fairy. This one, I guess I can give credit to the Stash Queen for enabling me. I saw her whip of this, and I really like this. I love her little sassy pose with her belly exposed. She's really pretty, almost a little sexy, so that'll be fun to stitch. And let's see what else. This one, Baby Steps by Anchor. I love this as a birth announcement type thing. I've already done one for my son, and I think this would be better for a girl anyway with the bows, but I just think that is so pretty. It's simple, but like really effective and classy. And then this one, Gail Busey, Enjoy the Moment, teacup design. Take time to enjoy the moment. I might stitch this for my kitchen, I don't know. And Leslie Tier, Soft and Lovely, Allium Flowers. Very pretty purples. And here is the, I guess I already showed you the Rose Fairy. Okay. So here's another one that was enabled by Katie, the Stash Queen. So this is issue 212. And there's the Sweet Pea Fairy on the cover. Katie's whip of this is really gorgeous. So here she is. She's got kind of like a hippie chick aesthetic, which I think is really fun. And also in this one, I found this Moments of Joy bell pull by Gail Busey. I think this is really soft and pretty. Not quite my style, but I like it. And then here is issue 206. There is the Ladybird Fairy on the cover. Here's another one by Maria Diaz, Emperor Bloom, a peony, I guess. Yeah, peony. So one of that series. And then here is one by Anchor, Polar Sun. I think this is just a gorgeous polar bear chart if you're into animals, stitching animals. This is so cute. Pause for Thought, from an original work of art by Andre Langhorn, charted by Angela Poole. These cute little teddy bear designs. Finished into a sweet pillow. If I were still pregnant, like with my son or whatever, I would definitely stitch this. I think he's kind of old for it now, but really, really sweet pillow. Just beautiful. Very cute. And here is the Ladybird Fairy. Love the colors in this one. Very pretty. And String of Hearts by Leslie Tier. I love this. It's a very chic neutrals Great for Valentine's Day without being, you know, over the top. I'm not really huge into pink, so this is kind of like right up my alley. And then issue number 193. There's the Daffodil Fairy on the cover. So here is the Daffodil Fairy by Joan Elliott. I think she is so pretty, maybe stitched on like a really pale yellow fabric. It's gorgeous. And Winter Swans by Carolyn Palmer. The landscape collection, so that's really gorgeous. I probably wouldn't stitch it, but if that's your thing, swans, that's a really pretty chart. And here is a Loving Heart sampler by Gail Busey. I think this one is really pretty. It says, "A loving heart is the truest wisdom," I think. So that's nice. And then this one is more recent. Issue 242. There is Joan Elliott's Cinderella Rag to Riches on the cover there. Here is Santa's Journey by Maria Diaz, and this is second of part 2 of 3. This is a really cool chart, a lot of detail in there. I don't have the other, I might actually stitch this. I don't know, I have to track down the other pieces though. And then here is 2-for-1 Cinderella Rags to Riches. I will probably stitch it on one piece of fabric adjoining the windows. Really cool design by Joan Elliott. You see a lot of like Cinderella in the ball gown, but you don't see too much of her in the rags, and I love the way Joan did that. So much detail. The pumpkins are really cute. The broom and everything, and the bucket. Really nice. And then The Gingerbread Delight by Meg Evershed. Isn't that cool? It's 3D and it's smaller than you might expect. It's just about 3.5 inches tall. So given that size, I think it would make an excellent ornament for the tree. And you stitch it on 16 Aida and then wrap it around plastic canvas to give it structure. So it has beads in there, a lot of detail, and I just love it. I think that would be really fun to stitch and put together. And then last but not least, I have issue 232 with these Joan Elliott geishas on the cover. Very pretty. So the reason I bought the magazine is for this one. Captivating Castle by Maria Diaz. I think that is just gorgeous. My only pet peeve about this design is the way it's finished with the triangular bottom, but the design doesn't extend into a point. It's just cut square across the bottom. So if I stitch this, I might try to extend the design a little, but that would be a test of my skills in terms of pattern designing. So we'll see. But I think it is a gorgeous design. Just really captures the imagination. And then here are the Graceful Geishas by Joan Elliott. Really nice geisha design if you like that. And that is it. So for next time, I will have some progress on my 12 Days of Christmas project. That was supposed to be my weekend project for this weekend, but I just haven't gotten to it yet, and here we are Sunday night. So I'll probably work on it a little bit after I finish this video, and then another few days. And then I will work on the Castle by Teresa Wensler, and I'll start a new project, most likely the graduation announcement. That one is by Sue Hillis, and I'll show you more about that next time. And I guess last time I said I was going to try to finish up my Midsummer Night Fairy, so I didn't do that. I had those few days at the end of February, and I considered it, but then I decided I wanted to work on Mask of Colors instead. So, and me feeling like I want to work on Mask is pretty far and few between, so I tried to take advantage of that and get some progress in while I was feeling so inclined. So, but I do want to finish MIDI and have her finished to take to the retreat, and also be able to start a new Mirabilia project to work on at the retreat. So maybe in the next 2 weeks I will find some time to finish that. And I guess that is about it. So next time I won't have probably any haul, so I'll probably share some stash. So I might do my kit stash, and at the same time I'll show you some of my FFOs from kits. I do have quite a few since, like I said, I've been stitching since I was a kid, and I only sort of discovered the world of like free, charts and even weave and all that when I was like, I don't know, around 2002 or whatever, when I graduated college. Yeah, I guess I'm dating myself here, but whatever. I'm not ashamed. I'll be 36 in a few weeks, whatever. So, yeah, I found this blog. It was by this girl named Lorelei, and she was stitching like some mirrors and some Teresa Wenslers, and I was just like, wow. I think that was the first crafting vlog I ever saw, but we'll talk more about that next time. So I hope everybody has a good stitchy week. My last couple weeks have been kind of weird. I tripped over one of my son's toys and fell hard on my hand, and so that kind of jacked up my right hand and my wrist for a while. It didn't interfere too badly with my stitching, but it definitely slowed me down a little. That was when I was working on Mask, and I think the first night I just spent so much time hunting for the symbols on the chart because there was so much confetti and there's like 150 colors used. So I didn't actually do that much stitching. It was more just like hunting on between the chart and the list. But I've been fairly productive, so hoping for that next time. So happy stitching, everyone. Bye.